Jake, it's so nice to see you. You're in between my mic, dude.
Yeah, it's just like in the middle.
Yeah, it's like right there.
Mm-hmm. That's the weirdest part about it, man. Like the mic stands and the fucking like, it's awkward at first because like you're being recorded, but like I promise you're gonna feel more comfortable and then you're gonna just stop giving a fuck.
Okay.
There you
Why
go.
are you feeling awkward?
All right. So, welcome back to the Sorry I'm Not Home podcast. I don't know which episode this is, unfortunately. I have a very, very special guest. His name is Tyler. Do you want to introduce yourself, Tyler?
Hi, I'm Tyler Johnson.
Do you like long walks on beaches? And
Yeah, I really do, honestly.
So, fuck, where did we... It was middle school, right? That's where we met?
Yeah, middle school is where we met.
See, I remember it, because, like, somehow you told me about your concave chest, and I think that's how we hit it off.
Oh, my cereal bowl?
Yeah, your cereal bowl.
Dude, I ate ramen out of it one time, and I, like, burned the shit out of myself. Like, it probably didn't help, like, okay, well, I was high on marijuana.
Okay.
Okay, so this is how it started. And me and my buddy DP were like, oh, we're going to cook some ramen noodles.
Okay.
Yeah, so we got it off the stove, too. Like, I didn't even do a microwave. I was like, oh, I'm going to do the stove, do it all nice. And I didn't think anything about it. And then it was, like, maybe 2 minutes after, like, it got off the stove and we mixed it.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, dude, throw it in my chest. And he's like, all right. And we threw it.
Jesus.
I had a red chest for, like, a week or 2 weeks.
Did you ever get that fixed?
Oh, dude, I got a bar put in here.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I had surgery. It was crazy.
Huh.
Yeah, that's about well. Yeah, concave chest was over, and then I remember in middle school, you were always asking me about why my backpack smelled like cigarettes.
I remember that too. Yeah, you had the Chem Block 43 backpack
Yeah, with my mom that smoked cigarettes
every day on the way to school.
every freaking day. Oh my
Good times,
gosh.
good times. Because I feel like even then we weren't really that like close. It
No.
was like, it was after high school, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was after high school, and I came down here for college. I think that's kind of when we started like hitting it off.
Then we would go to the Sonic in Edgewood.
Oh my
Just
gosh.
hang for fucking hours, dude.
And then I remember I worked at Pet Boys. I used to go by the tattoo shop all the time.
True.
Dude.
Holy shit. I forgot that you worked at Pet Boys.
Pet Boys was the shit, dude. Yeah,
Was it? I feel like it was.
Oh, it was the shittiest job in the world. Like,
Was it?
Yeah, like I literally like mopped floors. Like I think I literally started. They'd give me tires, and I'd have to mop the floors at night for everybody.
Nice.
Yeah.
That sounds awful. Because, like, so I work at a dealership now, and, like, I feel like most of the lube techs that, like, come in either come from, like, Firestone, Jiffy Lube, or, like, Pet Boys. And so, like, they think they're hot shit. Because I feel like that's what those places breed. Is they're like, hey, you spent so much money on going to, like, mechanic school, you're gonna be the best. And then, like, they go and they do those jobs, and then they come to, like, a real, like, shop, and they're just fucking awful, dude. Like, the worst at this shit.
Dude, like, school really doesn't help anybody, I feel like. Like,
No?
I mean, I literally worked all the way through college. I never, like, had a free moment, and I worked in a lot of shops. And I think that's where you have to, like, hone your skills, I should say. I mean, yeah, it was cool because, like, every day when you learn something, you could put it into your work. Like, if you learn something and there was a guy doing a diagnosis, because you start off at the bottom. Like, I mean, you start at the bare bottom. So pretty much, like, if you see a guy doing a diagnosis, you can go watch him for a second, see exactly what he was doing. It might be something that you had to do with school, but I feel like, I don't know. Lube techs were very weird. I used to work with this weird guy, and he ended up, like, going over to Hyundai. We talked about that one day.
Did we?
Yes, he looks like, he's like a little emo guy. You have to think about it. He works at Hyundai, turned into a car salesman. He was creepy. Like, he looked like he'd shoot up a school.
Oh!
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not going to name drop, but I know exactly who you're talking about.
You know exactly who I'm talking about?
Fuck. We've actually become kind of good friends, weirdly enough.
Really?
Yeah, like, we kind of hit it off.
Is he still there or no?
No, I don't know where the fuck he went, but, like, I'm trying to, like, not drop too much information.
Yeah, I know exactly where he came from, too. So that's kind of the thing, is you don't want to drop too much on that one.
Because, like, I don't have anything against him now.
I didn't have anything against him either.
He was never a bad guy, but, like, just, I don't know. He couldn't read social cues. That was one thing. Just walk into a room and then just awkwardly stand there and involve himself in a conversation without saying anything. Just like, okay. And you're just like, oh, my God, I want to fucking die. Like, and then, like, his look, of course, like, that's how he got the nickname, the school shooter. Like,
dude, I remember one time, like, okay, he had a girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And oh my gosh, it was like halfway through my shift, right? I'm gonna have the weekend off. I think I was actually going out with you guys.
Okay.
And this dude, he comes up to me and he's like, "Look, my girlfriend broke up with me. I need to go talk to her." I guess she like lives like 500 miles away or some shit. So he's like, "I need you to cover my shift for the next 2 days, like just straight up everything." And I was like, "Nah, fuck that." And he got all pissed off and butt hurt. Oh my gosh, it was, I don't know. He was a different dude.
Yeah. I don't know. He's a good guy, but he's a fucking oddball. Like just
Well, there's
odd.
like plenty of people like that. I feel like I'm like that some days. So
Yeah, not that bad.
not that
Nowhere
bad.
near as that. But he I guess kind of getting off of that. Like it's crazy how many times like you just see like the evolution of these people, because like they do think they're hot shit, then they come in and they just get their ass handed to them. Like, not saying like it's a hard job, but it's like a real environment versus like, I don't know, like people that bring their fucking cars to those like brake and oil places. It's like they're there for brakes and oil, like that's it, you know.
Yeah.
Whereas like you come to like a real place and it's like, hey, here's everything that's fucking wrong with your car, and then they're like, nah, I'm good, I just wanted my tires rotated. And you're like, that's not going to solve anything. Like, that's not the problem, you know? It's dealing with that, and then you just see them slowly get beat down by the system and lose, like, all motivation to be a mechanic.
Yeah, I think, like, mechanicing, I mean, I'm out of it now, which kind of sucks. I miss it. Like, I have, like, a little
I thought
side...
you had a shop.
I have a side business, but I don't really... Like, in all honesty, I do stuff on the side to keep me, like...
Busy.
Yeah, well, I get bored very easy. Like, let's put it this way. Like, when we started building our house, I was always doing something. Like, literally, I'd practically go and run a business during the day. At night, we'd be working on the house. And that's what I did, like, all the time.
That's hard, dude.
And
That's heavy.
Oh, no, like, I feel... This might sound weird, but you get bored if you, like...
Stop doing things.
Yeah, like, what's the point of... I mean... Pretty sure there's some people that want to go home and everything else, and like I enjoy going home, but I'm always wanting to do something. Like it doesn't matter. Like I'm always either doing a project on the house, I'm always working on cars. Like I have pretty much side customers that I make a little bit of money off of, but it's nothing like crazy. Like working on cars, and then I just have my regular day job, which I mean, holy cow, I have a lot over my head on that point too. So it's definitely a lot of stuff to juggle, but I enjoy the heck out of it. Like, I
feel that, like, trying to keep yourself busy. Like, because, like, I hadn't worked on any cars in a really long time. Honestly, like, I put everything on the back burner. If it ran, it was good enough, right? Like, even if there's problems. And so, like, when the Subaru finally fucked up, it's like it still just sat there for months before I ever got around to it. And then, like, doing that, like, every night, like, don't get me wrong, it was fucking exhausting. And, like, I hated it in the moment of, like, just knowing that I had to do it because like I had to get it finished, you know. But like still it was nice to come home and like fucking just get busy on something, you know, and just do it, and like something that like was for me, you know.
Yeah, and I don't know, I think like especially when you're younger, you shouldn't go home and like be bored and sit at home. And
True.
I mean, yeah, I hang out with my friends, or me and Kristen go do stuff, but the thing is like I've always had that thing where it's just like you always want to keep moving forward. You never want to move backwards is the best way of explaining it.
I feel that.
Yeah. But
like kind of going full circle there. Originally, like when I graduated high school, I was like, I'm going to go to UTI, right? Like,
oh yeah,
that was the whole goal. Yeah. Like I was like, I work on cars every fucking day. Like I'm going to go to UTI and like get the degree. And like, it was fucking like 50 grand. And I was like, I could pay it back once I get the job, you know. And it's like, no, like 50 grand is still fucking 50 grand.
50 grand's a lot of money. Holy cow.
And so like that was the whole goal. And like I applied and I was like, fuck yeah. And then like one day it just snapped and I was like, I don't fucking want to actually like work on cars for people. Like I like working on my own shit and like I like doing my own thing. But like I don't want to fix other people's shitty problems. Like, there's nothing appealing about that, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, dealing with the public is probably one of the hardest things you have to do.
It's awful.
Oh, dude, like literally, this might sound really crazy, but like a lot of people know me where I'm at now. I'm not gonna name where I'm at. I'm pretty sure people will know, but like you can't catch me slipping. Like I can't do anything wrong with people. I'm not kidding you, dude. If you go through, because I have two phones, so if you go through one of my phones, which heck, let's see. Oh, I don't have it on me right now. Great to know.
Is it like a work phone and like a personal phone?
Yeah, here's my work phone. So on my work phone, I literally have people saved by their name and something that I can relate to them on, and what street they live on. So, like, let's go.
Maybe you should.
I'm not going to put names out there, but okay. So, like, let's say, hey, I know Jake, right? Okay, so let's say you call me. I'm like, oh, it's Jake. Okay, and I'll put Jake, 2 dogs, and lives on
blank.
Yeah, blank street. And I'll answer and be like, oh, hey, what's up, Jake? How are you doing? And they're like, whoa, okay, this is weird. Because, like, they have my personal number. So it's people I might not even talk to in the past 2 years. And they'll call me out of the blue, be like, hey, what's up, man? How's it going? How are your 2 dogs doing? Oh, that's awesome. And then,
Smart.
And then be like, so do you live on blank and blank street still? Okay, well, I'll get one of my guys over there. We'll talk here soon.
Smart.
So it's a very, like, I do juggle a lot of things. And I admit that was one of the smarter things I've done. But with dealing with the public, like, you always have to act like you know everybody. I mean, there's people that call for me all the time. Like, they'll call my office and they'll be like, I need to speak to Tyler. And they'll tell me the name. I'm like, who the hell is that? Like, I don't even remember having a conversation with them. Like, if you go through my phone, like my call list, I usually do 50 to 75 calls a day. Just kind of.
Fucking Christ.
Yeah, between my employees, everything else, it's just a crazy, screwed up thing.
It'll be worth it one day. But, like, fuck, that's heavy right now.
Oh, yeah, dude. I mean, like, okay.
I mean, I imagine it's already worth it, but, like, you know what I meant.
I won't say it's worth it, per se. Like, I think, how to explain it? Like, okay, so let's circle back around to, like, school and stuff like that. Okay. So, I've worked for my dad since I was 12. So, I've worked for his business since I was 12 years old. I know the inside and the outs of it. I hate that crap, and that's what I'm doing right now. But anyway, so I like literally despise that job. Like, I literally hated it so much. I remember telling myself when I was a kid, I'm going to leave it and I'm going to go do something great.
I remember.
Yeah. So I left, decided, okay, I'm going to go, because I signed up for UTI and then I was like, okay, that's stupid. I'm not spending 50 grand. So I went to this IntelliTech college up here, and pretty much it was like, I loved, like, I'll admit one thing, like, the coolest part about college is I pretty much from like 18 on, I've always lived by myself. Like, that's one thing. So that's kind of, it was cool because I never had to live with my parents, deal with their BS or anything like that. Like, my mom lived down here, but she lived with her boyfriend, and I had a house. So I don't know. It was pretty much, I moved up here. I was like, I'm going to get out of it, do all that stuff. And I really did work my ass off, and became a boss at like a little lube shop that we did and stuff like that. And I enjoyed it, and I had a lot of fun at it. But then, of course, reality sets in, and you kind of have to go back to doing the family business or whatever you're going to do in life. And I mean, I will say automotive was probably one of the coolest things back then and everything else. And I will admit I was a lot less stressed. Like, I think nobody understands like what running or owning a business is. We all say, oh yeah, we want to do that. Dude, you think about payroll, you think about this, you think of it.
It's fucking exhausting, I imagine.
Oh,
like, everybody wants to be their own boss just so they don't answer to anybody, but then you realize that, like, it's kind of like the buying versus renting argument. You know, it's like you buy so that way you, like, are building equity and, like, you've got money in your pocket, you got something worthwhile, right?
Yeah.
However, nobody fucking tells you that it's like when something goes wrong, that's on you now. Like, anything that could break, anything that would possibly fucking go wrong, that's on you. Whereas, like, renting, it's like, yeah, you don't own anything and you're throwing away that money every month. However, you have no problems. You have nothing to worry about because it's somebody else's problem. And that's the same way, like, with being an employee versus being the owner, because it's like, you're the owner, so now you don't have to answer to anybody, and, like, you should be making more money than everybody else. But now everybody's problems are your problems. And so, like, the opposite way, it's like if you're working for somebody, you're like, fuck, like, I'm never going to make the big bucks, and I'm making him way more money than I'm making. And then one day you kind of realize, and you're like, no, I make less because I have to deal with less, so it's worth it. Like, in the end of it, you're like, there's a happy balance there somewhere that, like, money isn't happiness. But, like, as long as you're making enough to make it by, like, you got nothing to worry about, you know?
Yeah, I think, like, in all honesty, like, back when I lived here, even... yeah, pretty much had a lot less money. I'll put it that way right now. And I was probably 10 times less stressed, 10 times happier, had a lot more fun with it. And I think that's what people don't understand. No matter if you have money or whatever, like, I don't have that much money right now anyways, but still, it's one of those things, like, money doesn't buy you everything in life. It
Yeah.
never will buy what you want in life. Like,
Yeah.
pretty much you have to find happiness with it. And I can see why there's people out there that literally just want to go home, hang out with their kids and wife, and do normal stuff. Because I can see the point in that. But then also, like, as a business owner, everybody or anything else, like, I manage the place pretty much. But the thing is you can't leave work at home.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can't leave work at work. You always have to bring it home with you.
Yeah.
I hate to say that to anybody. If you ever think you're going to own your own business and you're going to leave work at work, that is one of these
Maybe
stupid...
one day.
Maybe one day. But the thing is people call me. I've had people call me at 12 o'clock at night just because of stupid little things because they have my number.
Yeah.
But the thing is you never get to leave it there. I mean, you always have people working, always doing stuff. I mean, there's just...
And there's like different levels to it too when you start thinking about it, because like there's like people like, let's say like Jeff Bezos, right?
Oh yeah,
fucking multi-billionaire, never has to worry about fucking money ever again in his entire life, right? His kids, his grandkids, the whole family name will never have to worry about money ever again. However, in that, like, you don't think about like how much shit he has to deal with, and it's like once you level up, because it's like being a business owner is one thing, right? And the same way that you said, it's kind of like you got to watch what you're doing because the whole community knows you, and it's your ass, like it's your name on the line, right?
Yeah.
So it's like if you fuck up, that's how they're gonna view everything that you have in part in, you know?
Yeah.
So now you up the stakes, and you're a multi fucking billion trillion dollar company, and it's like now anything you do will fuck your entire empire, like not into the ground because I think it's too big, it's too dangerous, right?
Yeah.
That's a whole. We can get into that here in a second.
Yeah.
But like I don't know. I just think that's things that people don't think about is like the stress and the fucking bullshit that comes with like leveling up, and like it's not a bad thing either. Like depending on what you want to do, because obviously in your situation you're handling it fine, and like you have goals per se of like things that you want to accomplish, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I take my life day by day now at this point. I'm not going to BS anybody. I mean, it's always something you have to think about, but I don't know. Let's put it this way. Like, I came up here to see my family. My mom had surgery Thursday.
Yeah.
So I got this big job, and I finally got it all lined out. So got this huge job. It's in the 100,000s.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty much Thursday, I was sitting there waiting for mom to get out of surgery. And then Friday morning, I had to wake up early as hell, even though I got to bring my mom home from surgery and stuff, and I needed to go hang out with her. I had to wake up early as hell and drive freaking 150 miles another way to go to a meeting for 10 minutes of my time.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Just so I can do that. And I don't think people will ever greatly understand why you have to do things that you do. But I don't know. It pretty much when you do anything in life, it's just there's always something bigger than you. There's always something more. Like the main reason I do that is because we have people. We need to keep them working. We need to keep everything rolling.
Yeah.
And it's just, man, it's a crazy world out there at the moment, especially with COVID, because that has literally, like, it hasn't stopped me from working. I work every day, but God, holy cow, I can't imagine all these other businesses or even
that was a fucking like that's what okay. So let's dive into it. Like the whole COVID thing. Like one, I'm gonna straight up say it's definitely real, right? People are definitely getting sick. That's my first thing, just to preface. Like everything
yes, it is real, and it.
However, there is a big fucking part of me, and it's because I love conspiracy theories, but it's like there's a big fucking part of me that thinks the day after the election, I'm talking November 5th, like the day after, this shit is going to be so minute. Like, I'm not saying that it's not going to still be a problem, but like it is not going to be the face of the news and the fucking everything. Like, I truly think that it's not blown out of proportion because obviously it's dangerous, but like it is so like
it's
intense.
Political at this point. In all honesty, I think I'm 100% in agreement with you, and I'm pretty sure if anybody hears this or anything, I will say if we don't re-elect our president, let's say we vote in a Democratic side, our economy has already collapsed. I mean, we are literally making money out of nowhere, which we've been doing for years.
We are literally fucked no matter what. Like, and like without diving into politics, because like that's one of the things I avoid on here.
Yeah.
It's just like, like I don't even know how to like really. It's like I backed off from all of that because it's like, fuck it, like yes, of course your voice matters, your vote does count, but it's like, man, this shit is so fucking like everything is so heavy, and like I got my own life shit I'm dealing with, and like you've got your own life shit that you're dealing with, and it's like. It's just, it is what it fucking is, and like, there's a part of me with the conspiracy theory side that it's like, we have a democracy, you can vote in a president, and I'm like, you kind of give us two options and go, yeah, either one, and you go, well,
and then, I mean, last election, and we've proven this at this point, it's pretty much it was a shit show, just depending on which shit show we wanted to go down.
Exactly.
And I mean, same with this one, but the thing is I don't even know where. I think let's just put it this way: a revolution could possibly spark.
There's a big part of me that thinks like we are like this close to a civil war, like this fucking close, and it's like, don't get me wrong, it's definitely not the fucking what the fuck was the Civil War? 1800s?
I don't even
1900s.
Yeah, I don't keep up with history.
I'm not good anymore at this shit, but like, anyways, it's like. Of course, like, you're going to bring the Second Amendment, like, where it's, like, the right to bear arms and the right to form a militia, but it's, like, you're bringing a gun to a drone fight. Like, we don't really have a chance if it really, like, breaks out. But then it's, like, so say, like, full civil war breaks out. Like, full fucking divided sides. This is what we believe in. This is what we believe in, right? And they go at it. It's, like, what the fuck happens, man? Like, do they shut that shit down immediately, or do they just kind of let it burn itself out? Like,
well, like my weird question is like, okay, so what happens with like your mortgage and all that shit? Like, do they just be like, okay, well, Wells Fargo's done, we're not doing no more shit?
If I've learned anything from COVID, my mortgage is still gonna be due on the 1st. All my bills are still gonna be due because, like, holy fuck, I remember right in the beginning of it. Okay, so like, I was torn in the beginning, right? Because like. There was a part of me that was pissed off because, like, I was mad my company didn't care about my safety, right?
But then there was to have a job.
Yeah, there was the other side where I'm happy to have a job, and then there's, like, the complete opposite side where I was, like, I think I was, like, delusional that really I just wanted paid time off, right? Like, just so selfish that I was just, like, I just want to be at home and be paid for no reason. Like, that was a big part of it.
Yeah.
However, I worked in a essential business, so, like, I never stopped, right? And then they laid off everybody, and I was the only one there. And still, I was like, these motherfuckers, man. Like, of course it was me. Because, like, then my, like, homies that got laid off, they were making $4,000 a month to do nothing. Like, I was like, holy fuck. Like, and this isn't an argument about, like, unemployment or anything like that. I don't give a fuck, right? It was purely just watching them make more money than I was making working, like, 50-hour weeks. And I was like, motherfucker. Like, why couldn't they have fired me? Like, just so, like... petty me victimizing, like, I wanted to be at home making $4,000 a month, and it's like, fuck it. Of course, you look back and you're like, well, at least I have a job, at least, like, now when everybody starts going back to work, I don't have to fight for employment, and so it's like,
oh yeah, well, the unemployment thing just went crazy too. I got filled in on that too, and it's like crazy how much they were making $1,000 or like, I think it might have been even more than that, just depending on who you were, but it's like, what the hell?
Insane, right?
Yeah, and
like, and it's not it's not me arguing like they shouldn't have made that much, because I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, take care of them. There's a big part of me that's like, yeah, take care of them, man. The world's literally fucking ending, and like, I had shit stored, like I was ready for like the end of the world, because I truly thought like this is the breaking point, because all it's gonna take is literally they fire everybody, then nobody has money, so people start stealing, right? And people start stealing, yeah, then you fucking turn into like the goddamn apocalypse real fucking quick. And I had thought this whole plan. Like,
with the toilet paper thing, I thought the apocalypse was honestly going to start at that fucking point. Like, I really had a good feeling.
I was stealing fucking toilet paper from, like, public places. Like, the big-ass rolls, I was just taking them because I couldn't find anything. It wasn't even to, like, stock up. It's like, dude, I have nothing to wipe my fucking ass with. Like, there is nothing in these stores. And I was like, fuck. Like, I picked the wrong week to go, the idiots, they're fucking stocking up on toilet paper. Then the next thing I knew, I was out and I was like, fuck! Like, I'm just going to have to start shitting out, Like, that was like the only thing I could think of. It's like, when you're out, go to the bathroom before you come home, It's like...
Oh my gosh. I don't know. With our world nowadays and everybody, how they just reacted to it. Oh my gosh. And then the ramen that ended up going, which I love ramen, so that kind of like hurt my feelings a lot. Show up to Walmart and everything was just cleared out.
Honestly, like, yo, I like so like it was when I couldn't find toilet paper. I was like, okay, maybe I should take this a little more serious. Not for the fact of the end of the world, but for the fact of I have nothing to fucking eat. Like, and if they start shutting down like fast food and shit, waiting for that, and that never happened. But it was like I don't know what the fuck I'm gonna eat because I didn't keep groceries. I just ate out every night, right? And it was like, fuck. So I went to like Target and like all the shelves were cleared out. There was no canned food. There was no pasta. There was no anything to make. And I was like, holy fuck, dude. I'm gonna be living on like Lay's potato chips. That's the only shit that's there. And it's like went to Walmart, same shit, and it's like I didn't even know how to process it because it's like you don't realize how fucking hopeless you are until all that shit's gone. Because it's like, okay, let's go real psychotic with it, right? World ends. There's no food in grocery stores. Now I gotta hunt for my food. I don't know the first fucking thing about hunting, man. Like, shoot, grill it. Like that's there's got to be some middle steps in there that I'm missing, And it's like that's something I never fucking learned, and maybe I should have, And it's simple things like that, or like okay now, like electricity or running water, and it's like those are the parts of those fucked up apocalypse movies you don't see where you're like those motherfuckers haven't taken a bath in 7 years, like they haven't taken a shower or anything, like oh my god, like the smell and like your just body would just be fighting itself, right? Just caked in shit, I would think.
Yeah, well, you know what pissed me off about Zombieland when I watched that?
Huh.
It pissed me off how they're just driving around in cars all the fucking time, and I'm like, I don't think at that point we'd have fuel like anywhere.
Okay, so did you watch Z Nation?
Not really.
You should watch it. Okay, it's on Netflix, and basically it's I think there's like 7 or 8 seasons, right?
Yeah.
And it's like a funny zombie show. Like not like pure comedy, but like definitely like some dry humor in there that like makes it good, right?
Yeah.
A little bit of scariness that just kind of fades throughout it and you get really involved in the stories. Yeah. However, my point is this fucking shit, like by the end of it, they've been in the zombie apocalypse for like 7-9 years or something like that. And I'm like, how the fuck are they driving around? Same question, because like I think like if I remember right, like shelf life of gas is like 2 to 3 years at max.
Well, now
after that, it's like it just doesn't burn. It doesn't have the same.
Yeah, and it gets really bad and like eats through stuff. I mean, like I will admit this, and my dad, like he's kind of getting on a weird kick too. He wants to buy one of those deuce and a halves. I don't know if you've heard of those, but they're pretty much like a military vehicle that you can throw any type of fuel in. Like you can literally throw like kerosene in there and it'll start and fire over.
I've seen some shit like that, and it blows my mind. Like biodiesel. That's like run off of basically like grease traps. Like that would be my go-to car, right? Because like when all the gas stations are empty, all those grease traps at every fast food place is still full. So like that would be your fuel source. You'd never run out. Like the amount of grease that would be on this fucking planet. Just used old nasty grease. You have a filtration system. I'm not quite sure how the engineering works on it.
Well, I think you can literally just pour like oil in there, like just oil from that stuff. But I don't know. I think if like the zombie apocalypse happened, I wouldn't want to live. Like I don't think I would be.
Wouldn't want to live.
Like I don't think I would like keep trying to move forward because then
it'd be hard.
I think it would be a very like hard, challenging point. Because like here's the thing: we have a cabin up in the mountains. I'd probably go there, but then I'd always be scared. Like be like, well, now I have to watch my shit in the middle of the night, which like I'm in the woods, so it's all scary throughout the night.
Exactly. There's like a part of me that would like have to be on flat like desert. Like, just so you could see. Because it's like, now you involve trees in the dark. Like, you don't know where fucking anything's coming from.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, almost, like, would want to still live in the city. Like, that would be the worst place to be. But, like, I don't know. At least you could know what the fuck's going on. And, like, you can see things. Like, I don't know. Maybe
I don't know. I think, like, this might sound really... If you get to Alcatraz, I think that would be, like, a smart move.
That'd be a solid move.
I think that would be a solid move. Because here's the thing. There's nothing around you.
Mm-hmm.
It's an island.
Till you find out that zombies don't need oxygen, so they can walk through the ocean.
That's kind of fun.
This is my own fucked up theory, right? Because it's like, if they're dead, then they wouldn't need to breathe, right? Like,
yeah, but then what about walking across the ocean? Because doesn't it, like, once water gets lower, it gets denser, so won't it smash you?
I mean, ideally, but...
I don't know. I think physics won't go into this at this point, though.
Yeah, maybe we need a little more research in this department.
Oh my gosh, can't believe we just went on that rant. But yeah,
we definitely got off track there. I don't know how that. Yeah, but no, like actually, you mentioned a good thing that it's like, I don't know if I would want to live. It's like I have a hard time living with normal life, you know?
yeah, and
A little
imagine
dark
like,
humor, but like, it's like, what would be the purpose? Like besides staying alive, and it's like,
well,
I
what
don't
are
know
you staying alive for at that point?
for like when it's fixed, but like
When's
I
it
don't
gonna?
know. Like, there's a part of you that thinks like it's like once it's gone, like it's gone, dude. Like, there's no reboot on that shit. Like
Well, what's the name of that movie with Brad Pitt that had zombies in it?
Z Nation.
What? No, that was a
No,
season or
that
that
was
was a
the show I
show.
was watching.
Yeah, it's
World War Z.
yeah. Now those zombies. Oh fuck no, I want
Oh,
one.
those are
Oh
hell, dude. I was like, fuck, you stepped it up.
no, when they're getting on the helicopter and they're like
Mm-hmm.
stacking up, I'm like, oh my fuck,
When they're
like
smart, you're like, oh shit, they're meth heads. They're the same thing. Like,
it's the same thing. It's just like Albuquerque all over again.
I don't know, man. I don't know what I would do. On a
Oh,
side note, I mentioned Amazon earlier, right? It's a
yes.
complete fucking flip. Have you ever looked into them?
No, I have not looked.
It is fucking disgusting. Like, I'm not talking like anything like all the pedophile shit that's going on right now.
Yeah.
I'm talking like as a company, they are fucking disgusting. Because like when you were talking about your company and it's like mentioning about like your workers and like you got to take care of yourself and take care of the business because you got to take care of them, right?
Yeah.
It's like Amazon is so fucked in their whole business plan. Like, okay, so to start with, like when they originally launched the website, they wanted to call it relentless.com because like their whole goal was to like undersell everybody, right?
That's actually a smart idea.
Yeah, to this day, that URL still takes you to Amazon. How
Really?
fucked is that? Yeah.
Wow.
So their whole business plan, right, is like to track what's selling, right?
Yeah.
And they don't buy the product to sell it. They backtrack it. They figure out who the distributor is, and they buy the fucking distributor. So they don't even buy like from the businesses buying like it's so they backtrack it all the way. And if they can't get that, they'll manufacture their own at a fraction of the price to the point that that company will have to close. Like
or they'll buy the name pretty much at that point.
Exactly. And so with that being said, like another big story with Amazon was years ago. They wanted to buy diapers.com, right?
Yeah.
And diapers.com was the number one place in the entire fucking world, all of the internet to buy diapers. Massive company.
Yeah.
They walked in, Amazon walked in and they were like, "Hey, we want to buy it for $100 million." And they were like, "Get fucked. We don't want your business," right? Amazon was like, "Fine, no worries." So then they launched a program where anybody that was a new parent, male or female, for the next 3 months got free diapers on Amazon.
Just undercut their whole business.
They lost, like Amazon lost millions and millions of dollars in diapers. However, diapers.com took such a fucking hit that they ended up having to sell for like $100 grand. That fucking bad, dude. Just because Amazon wanted it. They didn't really fucking need the business or anything. Because like that's the other thing about their business plan is it's set up to gain like marketplace. It's not set up to make money. They literally are designed to lose as much money as possible while gaining as much marketplace.
Well, if you really think about it, okay, let's say they make a cent everything they sell or something like that.
Yeah.
They're still generating revenue. So
exactly. Like where they lose money, they still make money somewhere else. Like
yeah, and the thing is they can at that point they're really being smart about it because I mean it's kind of screwed up, but like they can just come in and pretty much take your whole market out. They can do anything and everything, and I mean that's
what like I was getting into is like basically with that strategy of just gaining marketplace, essentially they're setting up a monopoly, right? So like everything comes from them, even if it's under different names, like they own it, right?
And then they're the number one store for it.
Yeah, the problem is a monopoly is illegal, right?
Yeah.
But you can't charge a tech company with a monopoly charge because they are a tech company, so they can't be defined on what they're selling. How fucking insane is that? So basically, they have all the free reign to become a monopoly, and there's nothing anybody can fucking do about it. It's great for the consumer because like you get dope ass deals, but it's awful for like businesses and like just people in the community because it's like there's no hope then. Like there's nothing you can do.
Well, I mean, this crap took off maybe 10 years ago, if that.
That's when it like skyrocketed, but it's been around for like probably like 15, 20.
Yeah, so 15, 20 years. I mean, it's probably, in all honesty, I think Walmart's kind of trying to adapt. I will admit that.
Yeah.
But I think in all honesty, it's probably end up we're not going to be able. Like, I think Walmart's going to go out of business. Or
No way. You think so?
I really think so because I think like everybody relies on the internet way too much. I think pretty much it's going to come to that point where, Amazon was talking about drones. Imagine getting everything delivered to your house. You never like this might sound really screwed up. And a lot of people like are they're like pretty much they just love hanging out inside their house.
I love it. Like with that same thing, it's like I don't use like Grubhub very often, but it's like, dude, the conveniency of being like, say it's $10 extra, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, then I don't have to fucking move. And like, of course, that's super dope when like you've got no reason to move, right?
Yeah.
So that's when you would use it. It's like, or if you worked from home, you're like, I don't have to stop working. I can just get my food brought straight to my door. And it's simple things like that. But then you up it a little bit and you use those same services like Postmates to like get your groceries delivered. Now you no longer have to spend extra money because like that's the whole point in a grocery store, and that's why they rearrange it like every fucking 6 months, is to make sure that you have no fucking idea where anything is. So that way you have to browse through and you end up buying more shit than you need.
Well, yeah. And
so like say like the butter and the milk, like those are things that should probably be close together, and they are in most stores. However, there's sometimes where they're on complete opposite ends, and you're like, who the fuck? Like, what idiot did this? They know. And then you think about it, and you go, oh, they did it on purpose. And so it's like with that same thing. So I could see how, like, Walmart could definitely go under in the future based on just convenience.
Or they're probably going to have to start a delivery service, which they have that. But I think it's just crazy how this whole thing's going at this point. There's a lot. Oh my gosh! If we went on all the conspiracy theories and everything else,
this would be like a 10-hour podcast.
Yeah, but pretty much like with Walmart, I hope they stay in business because they took out everybody, dude. Like when they very first started taking over globally. Oh my gosh,
they fucked up all kinds of shit. On a quick side note, before we start wrapping it up, I love like food apps, right?
Yeah,
because like they put deals in them to like just save money because it's easier for them because it's less people in the store. And then they can just have them prepped, ready to go for when you walk in the door. So there's no wait time, there's no customer service, there's nothing, right? Like, one of my favorite fucking ones is the Burger King app. All right? Like, holy shit. The deals on there. Because, like, Burger King I would put in the upper level of fast food, right? More expensive, not that great, but it is more pricey, right?
Yeah, Arby's is getting that way, too. Oh, my God.
Arby's is fucking insane. Fuck Arby's. I literally ate there tonight, but it's like, they're so goddamn expensive. Like, for no reason. You don't even get me started. Fuck them. But like the Burger King one, right? It's like they have deals on there, like 2 Whopper meals with fries and drinks for like $5. Like just insane fucking deals. And so I really got into this shit of just downloading every goddamn food app known to man. And it's like people are sleeping on this shit, dude. Like take advantage of like
what about
the options.
Sonic? Have you got that one?
I have not.
You get happy hour all the time when you order.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, and like in our little town where I live too, it's like Edgewood kind of.
Yeah.
Like it sucks because everybody like packs that place out because of course you have to figure out who has the loudest truck in town. But anyways, so you can just order it and then you just roll up, you pull up on the bay and you just click on what bay you're in and they bring it out to you instantly.
No shit.
Yeah, it's great.
I always feel like Sonic takes so fucking long. Like every fucking time I go, it takes so long, and every fucking time it's guaranteed that it's gonna be wrong. Like guaranteed. And this is because like I just get plain burgers, right?
Same here. And
every fucking time it's like I'll wait 20 minutes for my food. They bring it out. I'm like, hold up, I unwrap it. I go, nah, I'm sorry, man. Can I get it plain? And then I feel really fucking awkward because like I'm the most like outgoing, confident person anywhere else in life, right? Drive-thrus, I shut the fuck down. And I don't know what it's about, and I don't know what past trauma I went through or something, but it's like I just fucking become a shell of a man, and I'm just like, can I get this? And then there's a problem, and I'm like, they're gonna fucking stick their dick in my food. Like, I don't even want to fucking... And I just freak the fuck out, and it's like, I'm trying to be nice, and I can't hold a conversation, and I just get super fucking awkward, and I don't know why. It's just drive-thrus, man. Like, I don't fucking know what it is. So I think that's probably the other reason I love, like, food apps, is I don't have to fucking talk to anybody, and I'm like, hey, and I just run out real quick, you know?
Dude, that sounds like... That's one thing I will say. I hate going to restaurants with my mom. Like, she is the worst about, like, saying shit. Like, she literally... Oh, my gosh. I mean, even... Last night we were having her birthday dinner, dude. And, oh, my gosh, it was bad. Like, yeah, she started bringing up, like... Yeah, well, just put, like... Somebody in my family is a convicted felon. So we were talking about voting, and we're like sitting there. There's like a bunch of people around us, and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we're social distancing, but we're sitting there, and we were talking about voting, and she's like, "You can still vote if you're a convicted felon." And everybody just turns around and looks, and was like, "What?"
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Our moms are so fucking similar, man, and we've talked about that before, but it's like same shit. Like, just has no like. I love her to death, but like she just has no like awareness of like that people listen. Because I do that shit. I love going to restaurants and just eavesdropping. Like Shay and I used to do that shit all the fucking time. Where it's like we'd literally go to a restaurant, wouldn't say a word because we were both zoned into a conversation and we both knew it, so it wasn't a problem. But it was like just listening to somebody else's like problems, and you're just like.
What about when you see people across the room and they're fighting, and you're like, and you guys start talking about what you think they're fighting about?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
Make up a whole backstory too.
Yeah, make up a whole backstory.
I love it. That's my favorite shit. Well, we're pretty much at an hour now. You want to wrap it up?
Yeah, I guess let's touch on one more topic before we get off of this.
What else you got?
Okay, so we have our phones here right now.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say we talk about a skateboard. Do you think it would pop up in our Facebook app?
Oh, absolutely. I've done this shit. I love it. Right? Because there's two ways to look at this. I don't know if you got more. Do you want want to say something else first?
I just think it's weird. Like they're eavesdropping on us all the time. Like it doesn't. Like they know my whole life. I'm pretty sure they listen to every conversation I have.
Mm-hmm. There's two ways to look at that, right? There's the first way that's absolutely fucking terrifying, right?
Yes.
It's such a violation of privacy. It's the same reason like TikTok's supposed to be banned is because they're just data mining you. They're just ripping everything out of your fucking phone, your photos, your fucking contacts, your everything. Like so much shit outside of the app that they're just taking, right? And it's terrifying because you're like, what the fuck? That's such an invasion of privacy. And to the average person, you're like, well, I don't really give a fuck. I'm a pretty boring person. What are they going to find? You know, like what are they going to use that for? But to somebody that understands like data and how to use that data, it's the most dangerous, scary shit in the fucking world.
And especially if China has that too, now thinking about because TikTok.
However, okay, like quick on the TikTok thing, and I'm just going to move on from that because otherwise that's a whole nother conversation.
Yes.
I have a big issue with TikTok being banned. That's another thing that I think right after the election, we're not going to hear a fucking word about it because I think it's just another thing used for distraction. But it's like they're mad because TikTok is fucking data mining our phones, yet Zuckerberg has been on fucking trial at least 3 fucking major times about the same shit, and it's like, why is this a problem? Is it a problem because China has our information, or is it an issue because it's not an American company doing the exact same goddamn thing and selling it to the Chinese or to anybody else in the world? Just because we don't have ownership, that we're not getting the profits from the data, is that the problem? Because this shit happens on all fucking social media.
Yeah, but then like, I think social media is like probably one of the worst things. Like, some days I wish I could delete it. Like, I really don't post on it much anymore, but I think pretty much at this point, like it's pretty much the end of it. Like they know everything about you, and everybody should delete it. But no, everybody has too much self-pride to do that. That's where most of their life's at. Everything's there.
It's the gratification of it. It's not necessarily the life. It's we are very much so like previously to social media, to be a star and to be like wanted by the public, you had to actually have some kind of like talent. You had to have some kind of ground. You had to put in the footwork, like whether it be comedy, a singer, dancers, TV shows, actors. They put in the fucking work. They got a major fucking gig, and they gained fans, and they gained like recognition for what they do, right? Yeah. The second that social media came out, it gave everybody a stage, and they were just like, hey, look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me. And so it was no longer, oh wow, I look up to people. It's like I can be just like them. And like I'm taking nothing away from that because I think there's a lot of opportunity, and I love social media, even though it's scary as fuck. But it's like that's when things change, because it's like, like even if it's subconsciously, getting a lot of likes on something makes you feel good.
Yes.
And it means absolutely fucking nothing, because we don't live in a world of like currency of money anymore. I truly believe we live in a currency of attention. And it's like, if you can hold somebody's attention, that's worth money. That's why you get ad sponsorships on podcasts. That's why you get social media fucking like Instagram posts about Game Fuel and like all that shit. It's like, because you can hold somebody's attention, that's worth money. That's worth more money than actual money. So they'll pay you. Like I have a homie that fucking does this shit, and like on his podcast, it's like he's paid over $3,000 an ad. It has a bare minimum of 3 ads per podcast.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not shitting you. So that's $9,000 a week in just ads. That's not your views, your revenue, or anything. But to those companies, $3,000 for 30 seconds of his time is worth every fucking penny, because now they can turn that $3,000 into $10,000, or they can turn it into a lifelong customer. And it's like, that's when you realize, like,
I
attention
didn't
is the
know
currency.
like you could get that pretty much at that point, because I watch YouTube a lot.
That's cheap. That's fucking cheap, dude. $3,000.
Well, I mean, like all the people I watch, I can imagine how much they make off their ads. Then
Insane.
Oh my, because I mean, like YouTube, I will admit is like the new TV, pretty much. I mean, it's always been like I watched YouTube, but now that's literally all I watch. Like I watch TV here and there, but it's like YouTube. I at least watch one thing on YouTube a day, probably. That's one like honest opinion about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, that Facebook Marketplace. It's a crazy world.
What did we start with that we were talking about? Oh, that they were listening.
Yeah.
Last final thing. Did you ever watch The Great Hack on Netflix?
No.
Watch that. It will fuck up your entire goddamn life. It's like a short documentary, right? Or not short. I want to say it's 3 parts, if I remember right, that are like an hour long each. Basically, spark notes of the whole thing for you. There was a company in England called Cambridge Analytica, right?
Yeah.
This company, their whole thing, they didn't give a fuck what side you're from, left, right, what your movement was, anything, right? If you were the highest bidder, they didn't give a fuck. They were like, hell yeah, we're working for you, right? They had a huge influence on the 2016 election. They had a huge influence on Black Lives Matter. They had a huge influence on all this shit, right? And what they did is they data mined. And there was a point when they had over 5,000 points of data on every single person in the United States. What you can do with that data, like I was saying earlier, is you can build an exact personality. They can tell you exactly who you are. And that's why, like, these ads and shit, where it feels like they're listening to you, they're not actually listening to you. It's so fucked that, like, the AI algorithm has all your data points to a T, that they know what you'd like, that they know what you would do next. Because us as humans, we're not that unpredictable. We are very, like, if we were an algorithm, it lines up every single fucking time. And it's terrifying, right? And, like, they got in huge trouble for this because, like, basically with those data points, you can define which people, what they call impressionables. Yeah. Those are people that you can sway in any direction that you want them to go. So then you just start feeding them propaganda, essentially, on their timeline. And you can make them into whatever you want.
Wow.
How fucking terrifying is that, dude?
Oh my. I'm not going to... Another thing on a side note is I have a Google phone for my work phone.
Yeah.
And, like, on my personal phone, I have 100 unread text messages. Like, that is one thing I'll admit. My Google phone, I always have to text off of. And I'm not kidding you. One of my guys will text me, or somebody will text me, and it will come up with a response that's pretty similar to what I would say. Mm-hmm. Like, exactly, like, spot on. Just by putting up, like, going through my text messages and kind of figuring out what's going on. Like, my phone could impersonate me in some sense or some way.
And, like, that was what I was saying, where it's like, you can look at it as terrifying, or you can look at it as beneficial. Because, like, as scary as all this shit is, it weirdly makes your life easier.
Yeah.
That it's, like, things like that, right? And, like, I always joke that it's like, okay, so they have all these data points on me on TikTok so they can feed me ads. I'm like, they're going to feed me ads that shit I actually like. So it's less time me figuring out what I actually wanted if they already know what I want, you know? And, like, so that's my joke about it. But it's like, this shit is, it's terrifying, but it's also the future, and it's like, this might just be a rocky place where we can build from, you know?
Yeah, and I think, well, this might just become the new normal at this point. I mean, okay, 20 years ago, nobody would ever thought, like, this would be, no, yeah, they would be like, what the fuck? But now we're at this point in our lives.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a good place to end it.
Yeah, that's a good place to end it.
Cliffhanger. Is there anything you want to plug? Your Instagram, your business? Nothing?
Nothing.
Cool.
Well, yeah.
You're good.
Just follow me at Tyler Johnson Lucky 7, and that'll be it.
There you go. As usual, follow me at Jake's Pimpin' on everything. My TikTok preferably, after all that shit. I love TikTok. It's my life. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.